We talked about the fact that the first two trucks with 4 tires were the Richard Childress Racing teammates of Joey Coulter and Ty Dillon. They're taking advantage of those new tires now as Dillon drives on the inside of Pluto.
Still not able to complete the pass. Ty Dillon on the bottom of the racetrack. Dives into 3. Tries to get in front of that 32. Up the racetrack he goes.
That's when you just take a deep breath, isn't it, Phil? You're like, I got to complete this pass. I'm going on in there.
This is how Joey Coulter took over that second spot from Pluto. Pluto goes way up the hill. Coulter drives by on the inside.
Ty Dillon took a deep breath, drove in a little bit deeper, and then prayed that Miguel Pluto didn't come with him. He wanted to clear him before he got down to the center of the corner, and Dillon was able to do so. Great job by that young man.
Buscher, Coulter, Ty Dillon, Miguel Pluto, and Nelson Piquet Jr. your top 5. Then it's Parker Kligerman, Matt Crafton, Brian Scott, Ryan Blaney, and John West Townley your top 10.
This last lap, the front 2 trucks were only separated by less than a tenth of a second. Let's see what they do on this lap.
Still on the lead lap, Johnny Sauter, Lofton, Jake Crum, Jason White, Ron Hornaday, Agnew, and Benning. It's been a wild ride in the Bluegrass State, but out front, James Buscher flexing his muscles. Check out and subscribe to our NASCAR mobile alerts. Get the latest NASCAR race results and breaking news sent right to your phone. Text NASCAR to Speed 3 for Speed NASCAR text alerts, driven by Good Sam Roadside Assistance. Right now, driven is James Buscher out in front of this field. Joey Coulter runs second, Ty Dillon third, Miguel Pluto trying to hold on to 4th, but Parker Kligerman working the bottom of the racetrack trying to take that spot away.
Parker's been working on Pluto for quite a few laps now. Hasn't quite been able to clear him. Just like this time, going to lose a little momentum, but is going to sneak up in front of Crafton though.
And that Crafton's a fast truck right now. I like the way he's looking. He's able to gain on these cats, and if they get to dicing it up, maybe he can make the move. We haven't seen Parker Kligerman be able to finish the pass, but he's got a good run on him off 4.
Got a slow truck up ahead. Maybe Parker can use that slow truck of Norm Benning for a pick, but I think Norm's going to stay down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Norm stays down low. They're both going to be able to go up around, and we'll see if Kligerman's able to get the advantage as they go through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Here comes Pluto once again to the high line. Able to get back in front of that 7, but they stay door to door. And again, Parker Kligerman charges into turn number 3, takes the spot away from Pluto.
Well, he made it work that time. Give him a little bit of confidence back. You spin out, sort of knocks you back on your heels a little bit, but he's able to work his way through this traffic, has driven up to the 4th spot. So way to recover for Parker Kligerman.
Things have really turned around for Parker Kligerman since he moved over to Red Horse Racing, driving that 7 truck. Running back in the top 5, holds on to the 4th spot now. Buscher has about a half a second lead over Joey Coulter out in front of the field. And it's Ty Dillon, Kligerman, and Pluto, your top 5. Crafton all over the back bumper of Miguel Pluto now in 6th.
And Miguel's done a nice job. He hasn't made it easy for these guys to get by him. Remember, no tires on his last pit stop. Right now he's battling against guys with 2 tires and 4 tires.
Apparently the vortex theory is working here at Kentucky because we haven't seen any indication of precipitation, and that's what a lot of the crew chiefs were talking about back on lap 47 of this race.
You just made my big brother smile. He loves the vortex theory. DW is all about that, and you're right. The weather has been cooperating, and
we heard Nelson Piquet Jr. mention earlier. He thought
it's probably a valve problem.
Thought he had a tire going down.
Sounds like maybe the engine's off now. The shaking he thought at first was a tire, possibly.
Outside corner, outside, right on top of you. I'm about to blow a tire, I think. Clear. I think I'm about to blow a tire.
He's dropped back to the 12th
We're ready,
spot.
let us know. We'll have to put 4 on, guys, unless we know which one it is.
I think now they feel like maybe they have some sort of an engine problem. That audio was just a few moments ago. Right now you can see him riding around the inside of the racetrack well off the pace.
And we heard earlier that Dakota Armstrong had an engine problem as well, and that's one of his teammates. So Dakota said he hoped none of his teammates had any issues, and it looks like maybe that Nelson Piquet Jr. is having that issue.
Jake Crum's about to go by in the 0-1.
The gauges are fine.
Nelson Piquet. Ray, what are they talking about?
Are you wide open?
Well, they said they have lost a cylinder in that drinkb.com Chevrolet. He's saying the gauges are fine there, but obviously down on power, one cylinder down. He's going to be trying to listen into his radio here. That's all he just said, but they are down a cylinder.
Yeah, he's about a second and a half off the pace now that's being set by James Buescher up front.
When you talk about the pace that James Buescher's sitting up front, the 4th place truck of Parker Kligerman was our fastest guy on the track last time by. Oh, Jason White's had a problem. Looks like maybe a right front problem with the 23 gunbroker.com truck for Jason White, hard into the outside wall.
28 laps to go. Jason White brings the 7th caution out. Now what do? Do guys that were close on fuel, do they take a deep breath and say, okay, I think this is going to help us because we've got some caution laps? Or does somebody gamble and decide to come in for maybe a splash or tires to help them out?
Well, if you're up front, this is going to be a little bit insurance. If you thought you were close before, this is going to maybe get you a little bit past your window, maybe with a possible green-white checker, have enough fuel for that. But if you're at the back right now, obviously PK needs to come in. They need to look at, see if they can figure out what's wrong with his truck. Hornaday's back in the 14th spot. He needs to come in, and maybe guys towards Johnny Sauter's 10th, maybe he comes in.
Justin Lofton as well. There's a lot of guys that could take a chance here, maybe gain some ground, Rick.
Caught it late, right front tire bad on Jason White. Into the wall he goes.
The number 13 has long been a sign of tough luck. Just ask the guys who try to pass Johnny Sauter.
Welcome back to Sparta, Kentucky and the Kentucky Speedway. A few takers when pit road opened of the lead lap trucks. Nelson Piquet Jr. obviously had an issue. We thought he was problems with his motor as well as potentially a tire having issues. We see the 17 of Timothy Peters back out on the racetrack. It looks as though he can probably make up about 3 spots on the racetrack, but 3 points very big in this championship run as we see our points as they're running on the track now.
See, James Buescher right now would only be 4 points out of the lead. He would be the big gainer if he can hold on and win here. You see Jason White is taking his truck back to the garage here. Miguel Paludo, remember we documented he went fuel only on his last pit stop. He came down pit road just now too.
Justin Lofton, another truck that made it onto pit road. Hermie.
Well, as Phil just talked about, the 32 of Miguel Paludo had stayed on the racetrack with no tires last time. They were dropping back out of the top 5, so they came to pit road, took 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment, trying to get back up front before this race ends. Ray?
Well, Hermie, sometimes it's good to be off sequence, and Justin Lofton has certainly been that tonight. He just pitted at lap 108, put tires on that truck. Guys, he gave up 9th position on the racetrack to come in and pit. He'll restart 13th. Can he get to the front in 20-some laps?
Well, he can get back to 9th, certainly. Now, he put 4 tires on, so 4 tires is going to mean a lot, I think. Justin Lofton and Miguel Paludo with 4 tires here. It's going to be interesting to see how far they can go.
We saw Coulter and Ty Dillon just cutting through the field when they had 4 tires and everyone else had no tires or just 2, so it'd be a huge advantage. Can they catch all the way up to the leaders? I don't think so, but with enough cautions, you never know.
And I don't think they were going to anyway.
Fantasy picks. It doesn't look like I'm getting out of the cellar anytime soon. Mayhew is going to end this one in 26.
It was a good pick, though, Rick. I mean, you had the first pick. You could have picked anybody in the field.
Could have picked Coulter.
You could have picked
Ty Dillon.
Like a lot of people that are right up front.
Could have picked Parker.
Yeah. But again, it was not a bad pick. Unfortunately for David and that BKR racing team, they've had some trouble.
Yeah,
so I think you're going to stay in the cellar.
But you're probably getting. You're okay.
Used to
it's
it.
the first time. The first time I've been down there and picked.
Why do we just assume you've been down there a lot?
I don't know, but I know I'm feeling that way right now. I'm feeling like I'm spending a lot of time in the cellar. Buescher, though, on the other end of it. He's been out front. He's dominated the 1.5 this year. Already won 3 1.5 races, or 1.5 racetracks, races on those. Joey Coulter won at Pocono. He's going to restart second. Ty Dillon has been good this year, has been to victory lane already. Parker Kligerman has been strong here, but hasn't been to victory lane.
He was my fantasy pick. I said he's going to be the 8th first-time winner this season.
And it looks like that still could become a reality. He certainly got a fast truck. He spun through the grass and still running in the 4th spot.
Restarts on the outside of row number 2. Coming to the green flag, Buescher and Coulter. Green flag back in the air, we're back underway.
Hang on, these are always fun.
23 laps of racing to go. Ty Dillon looks to the inside. Joey Coulter goes to block. Doesn't have enough room to do it. Kligerman on the outside trying to take second away.
Kligerman takes advantage of those guys being side by side. Now he's side by side with Ty Dillon for second.
Kligerman with the momentum on the high side has the advantage over Ty Dillon as they go into turn number 3. Things heating up as we've got only 23 laps of racing to go.
Joey Coulter seems as though he's going to go with the 7 of Kligerman. Maybe see push him down the corner. Now he's going to switch to the inside in his teammate.
And now looking to the inside of his teammate, trying to take that spot away.
That was a good move by Coulter. Ty Dillon had to move up the track a little bit to give Coulter some room, and Coulter is driven on the inside of Dillon. Aggressive racing between the teammates.
Coulter on the bottom. Ty Dillon up the second groove.
Oh, Coulter got a little bit loose down there. Never backed off, though.
21 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Coulter and Dillon still battling for that second spot. Coulter with the advantage last time by.
Oh, but Dillon takes the advantage back in the corner. Is he going to bring Kligerman along with him?
Just behind him, Matt Crafton sideways, almost into the wall, is able to catch it. But Crafton was sideways. It looked as though he had someone bump him as he was working through 1 and 2.
Joey Coulter going to try to move up to the inside of Parker Kligerman. He has his fender up there.
Coulter got loose the last time by when he's on the inside of his teammate Ty Dillon. He needs to complete this pass so he doesn't spin that truck around.
Here comes Kligerman working the high line, trying to get by Joey Coulter. Coulter holding tough down at the bottom, wiggles as he comes out of turn 2. That allows Kligerman to get by and takes third.
Joey needs to catch his breath there. That's 2 laps in a row where he had his truck sideways. You can't continue to do that and not get spun around. And I think maybe Joey says, okay, I'm going to ride in fourth for a bit.
Ty Dillon, the fastest truck on the racetrack at last lap, about 1/10 of a second faster than Buescher, our leader, this time about 6/100ths faster than Buescher.
Buescher, 7/10 of a second, separating he and second place Ty Dillon. Dillon trying to reel him in. Kligerman running third, Coulter fourth, Brian Scott is fifth. John West Townley having a career night in the 6th position.
How about Johnny Sauter up in the 7th spot here with a major accident earlier on?
Johnny Sauter holding tough in 7th. Ryan Blaney after that win a week ago in Iowa running in the 8th spot. Lofton is 9th after coming onto pit road, getting 4 fresh tires, back into the position that he gave up to come onto pit road, and Paludo rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Lofton and Paludo with those 4 tires have made their way up into the top 10.
You know, Phil, you talked about Ty Dillon being a little faster than Buescher a couple laps ago. That time by Parker Kligerman was the fastest truck. It's pretty much a standoff up front. Each driver running a fast lap every other time by.
That clean racetrack so critical for the guys up front. James Buescher now has put about 7/10 of a second between he and Ty Dillon. Battle for 8th though. Lofton to the inside of the 29 of Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, Justin Lofton's going to try to make those 4 tires work and get by Blaney. Blaney fights back on the outside. Now Paludo's going to go to the outside and follow Blaney.
As those two stay side by side, Paludo trying to figure out the fastest line, who to follow. Lofton up the racetrack, pushing the 29 of Blaney out of the groove. Blaney able to keep it going the right direction. They stay side by side.
You know, it's been a rough patch of races here for Justin Lofton. He's still racing very aggressively, though, down on the inside of Blaney. Can't quite make the move around Blaney. In fact, Miguel Paludo is going to come along with Ryan Blaney.
So Paludo takes a spot away from Lofton.
You see PK right behind them. He's obviously found out what was wrong with his truck and fixed it.
Running exact same lap times. Buescher and Dillon 1 and 2, only 15 laps to go here in Kentucky.